Oil falls more than $1 a barrel on Venezuela deal hopes. Reuters. Houston, Reuters. Oil futures fell more than $1 a barrel on Monday as expectations rose. The U.S. and Venezuela could soon reach a deal easing sanctions on Venezuelan crude exports, while traders saw it. The Israel-Hamas conflict did not appear to threaten oil supplies in the short term. Venezuela's government and opposition will return to political negotiations this week after nearly a year, the two sides said, while sources said the U.S. has reached a preliminary deal to ease sanctions on Venezuela's oil industry in return for a competitive, monitored presidential election in Venezuela next year. The reported deal would help to raise the country's oil output from very depressed levels, said William Jackson, chief emerging markets economist for Capital Economics. Below are your comments. This article highlights the absurd actions of the Biden administration. Draining the SPR has eliminated our ability to sanction Iran for the atrocities in Israel. Iran is exporting over 2 MBBLs per day, mainly to China, because Biden does not want to see crude move even higher. And now, he is reward. Aren't thousands of Venezuelan refugees fleeing that communist dictatorship across our border daily, while we play nice to their government? Another deal with a socialist nation. Great that our country now depends on other countries like Venezuela instead of handling our own DS. Oh wait, I thought Russia is the enemy, so they send a $100 billion to Ukraine to fight and sanction them. I thought Venezuela was also the enemy when they installed their own government there and sanctioned them too. Now they are friends and making deals again? The article illustrates the astuteness of the Biden administration. Sell from the oil reserve when supply is tight and look for alternative sources to rebuild the inventory. Well played and well timed. Next news. Banker who got into double trouble for claiming 2 meals on expenses loses UK lawsuit over firing. AP. Finance. A financial analyst who was fired by Citibank after claiming a 2-sandwich lunch on expenses has lost a legal battle for wrongful dismissal. A British judge has ruled that the bank was entitled to sack Szabolcs Fekete for gross misconduct because he lied when he claimed to have consumed 2 sandwiches, 2 coffees and 2 pasta dishes during a work trip, when he had really shared them with his partner. When the company queried his expenses for a July 2022 business trip to Amsterdam, Fekete emailed, "I was on the business trip by myself and that I had 2 coffees as they were very small." Below are your comments. People are just pathological sometimes. It makes no sense to put a massive paycheck in jeopardy in exchange for a $50 freebie. If my hotel gives me breakfast, I deduct that from my per diem. If my vendor offers lunch, I deduct that from my per diem as well. If I take a personal trip with my rental, please, the company had their sights on him already. Bullseye on his back. No one gets fired for expensing 2 sandwiches. This was a convenient excuse for the employers. This guy's must be sharp as a marble to lose his job over a sandwich. I refuse to pay 20 hotel breakfasts. I buy my own eggs and cook in microwave. My company reimburses no problem. The company probably wanted a reason to fire him. Can't understand why the bank wasted all the time and effort if he spent within the expense limit. I've had my leftover lunch sandwich for dinner also. They probably blew more than $100,000 for a $50 expense claim. No wonder banks are going bankrupt. Here is free advice. If your company is looking for a reason to fire you, don't steal. If you get caught stealing for crying out loud, don't lie about it. Next news. Ask an advisor. Is it wise to convert 10% of my 401k into a Roth IRA each year to avoid taxes and RMDs? Smart asset. Is it wise to start converting my 401k into an IRA and then Roth by 10% per year in order to avoid having to claim too much income each year when converting and also avoid RMDs as much as I can? Kathy, it's definitely smart to be thinking about this, Kathy. Systematic Roth conversions like the post. Ask an advisor. Is it wise to convert 10% of my 401k into a Roth IRA each year to avoid taxes and RMDs? Appeared first on Smart Reads by Smart Asset. Below are your comments. A valuable thing to do is develop a spreadsheet that tries to predict your taxes to be paid in the current year. When you get near the end of the year, you can model how a conversion would affect taxes. I have been doing just enough conversion every year to stay below the next tax bracket. The way I have been figuring out how much to convert is by calculating my taxes without a Roth convey RSION and then doing a what if to see how much I can convert and still be in the same tax bracket. We are retired, married filing joint, expecting to suffer from large RMD payouts, and right now ABO. 10% of what? If it's $100,000 in the IRA, no big deal. If we're talking a mil, 10% will surely make 85% of your SS taxable. That 12% bracket turns into an effective rate closer to 23%. One concern if you start the rollover from a 401k to a Roth while still working is that it bumps up your taxable income for the year, and chances are the bulk of the money you are rolling over will be in a higher tax bracket than when you would take it out at retirement, which most people don't seem to understand, that multiplication is commutative. Next news. Chairman Bill Ford says his company isn't the enemy. This is who is. Barron's.com. Henry Ford's great-grandson Bill Ford had a very different message for the union than what members H. Avenue been hearing from UAW President Shawn Fain. Below are your comments. Funny how other auto manufacturers can be non-union, have a dedicated workforce, produce a better V. vehicle and still profit. The unions nowadays are like cancer for companies and employees alike. I would rather make less money than to work for a union with a long strike hanging over my head ever. Why few years? The GE plant in the town that I live in went on strike every couple of years demanding higher wages. Even though that plant paid much better than any other place in the county. Fane's message is us versus them and management is the enemy. How does that union-management divide work out on the shop floor? Little direct cooperation. Union does only the strict minimum that meets contract language. How do the foreign car manufacturers handle their workforce? Push manage me. The higher union wages will cause addition robotic arms to be in play, reducing the worker count. Reducing the worker count reduces the dollar going home, some of which to buy cars. Fewer cars sold means more robots means fewer workers until no one has a job or money to buy anything but a. I was in business 36 years, and if I was young again and going to start a business, it would be in AR. To work state. I would also do my best to pay my workers as much as I could afford. Greed cannot be satisfied. Next news. Seeking up to 11% dividend yield? Analysts suggest 2 dividend stocks to buy. Tip ranks. The headwinds are piling up on our economic horizon. Just a few blurs of cloud right now, at the edge of the horizon, and we just don't know what's coming next. The headwinds include factors we all know about. Persistent inflation, the Fed's higher interest rates and tighter monetary policy, the tighter business and consumer credit environment, and the fast-rising government debt, which at $33.57 trillion already measures 103% of the total GDP. We've been reading about these headwinds for severe. Below are your comments. The 3 or 4 stocks I bought with high dividends I lost money on due to the drop in share price. There is a reason they are paying high dividends. The stock is overpriced. ETRN cut their payout 66% after the first year. Yes, it was 2020, but has kept it the same since. VXSL is a nice pick, but even newer. But both are approaching their 52-week highs, so don't go in too heavily or wait for a drop. I will be selling BXSL if it gets much higher, as I have a very nice PAP. I wouldn't touch this stock market with a 10-foot pole. Short-term treasuries or money market funds are the place to invest today. Guaranteed 5% interest with no risk. Navigating potential economic headwinds requires a defensive investment approach. High-yield dividend stocks, like Blackstone secured lending, can provide a reliable income stream amid market uncertainties. Be the first to seize the stock market opportunities. Go Freestocks us. Next news. Real estate brokers pocketing up to 6% in fees draw antitrust scrutiny. Bloomberg. The lucrative broker commission system at the heart of the U.S. residential housing market is facing unprecedented antitrust scrutiny from the Justice Department and 2 private class action lawsuits that risk weakening the National Association of Realtors, the industry's powerful lobbying group. Mo. St. Reid from Bloomberg. Your guide to understanding the roots of the Israel-Hamas war. Israel latest. Army says Hamas officials dead. Over 600,000 in Gaza flee South. Israel latest. Minister telephone. Below are your comments. The 6% fee should have been on the Justice Department radar 40 years ago. This collusion has continued despite going from paper ads to electronic ads, and home prices going from $75,000 to $750,000. There's no reason to pay $35,000 on a $500,000 house sale. The paperwork is the same as selling a $25,000 house. In almost all cases, the realtor does no work that is legally required and then has no liability if something goes wrong in the transaction. Top producers may be able to make a living at it, but why should the seller have to shoulder the burden of helping a low producer? 2 to 3 sales a year. The way real estate is set up now, it's hard to go below the 6% without causing a lot of people to leave the profession. That said, the 6% fee has been a thorn in the backside of everyone for far too long. It's highway robbery in today's connected world. Next news. I'm 62 years old, have $1 million in cash, $750,000 in an IRA and Social Security. Should I retire now? Smart asset. With retirement nearly within your grasp, a few years more of working may seem daunting. But before you make any final decisions, you must make sure you can retire securely. Here, we have a profile with about $1.75 million in savings on top of Social Security. Can you retire now? It depends on factors specific. The post I'm 62 years old, have $1 million in cash, $750,000 in an IRA and Social Security. Should I retire now? Appeared first on Smart Reads by Smart Asset. Below are your comments. I'm 72, have 17 million in an IRA, 22 million in savings. I have a pension that will pay $3,000 a week. Very thing I have is paid for and I have no bills. Can I afford to retire? I'm 7 years old and play kazoo in my second grade band. I have saved $2 from my lunch money allowance. If I invest that at a compound annual rate of 17.34 billion%, can I retire when I'm 8? If the answer is yes, will I also be able to afford a pet iguana? If you want to retire, do so. If you mean can you afford to retire, that depend on how much you plan on spending each month. Pretty simple. This person does not exist. She is a fictional character designed to draw clicks. It's just another in a never-ending line of Yahoo Finance, smart asset content-based advertising scam designed to induce people to pay for a financial advisor. Is basic math really that difficult? Next news. Schwab's net interest revenue falls 24% after clients move cash. Bloomberg. Charles Schwab Corp. Executives said its cash sorting problems, with clients moving money from the bank into higher yield ing products, are beginning to abate despite persistently elevated interest rates. Most read from Bloomberg. Israel latest. Army says Hamas officials dead. Over 600,000 in Gaza flee South U.S. pushes to contain Israel-Hamas war, warns Iran about escalation U.S. to tighten curbs on China's access to advanced chip tech stocks rise amid efforts to stifle Israel co. NFLICT. Mar. Below are your comments. Moved from stocks and bonds to CDs paying 5.5%. I'm one of those selfish ones that move a lot of money from 0.02% into 5.25% high-yield money market funds. Guilty! Exclamation mark. They're losing revenue because their platform is terrible compared to TD Ameritrade's, which they has and forced investors to Schwab's. My intelligent portfolios have gotten loaded with Schwab products at very low interest rates and RNS. Not happy at all. Not client-oriented as they chase their own corporate interests. Charles Schwab made $10 billion selling stocks rather than just investing in stocks. Does anyone see the irony in that? If stockbrokers were so smart, why wouldn't they just invest wisely and retire young? Instead, they make money selling stocks rather than investing in stocks. Why do they? Next news. Lithium batteries are the new oil, according to Elon Musk. Here are 2 stocks under $10 to take advantage. Tip ranks. The automotive industry is shifting, under a combination of impulses, from internal combustion engines to electrically powered vehicles. There has been much commentary on this shift, on its efficacy and practicality, but we'll focus here on a factor that most people probably don't think about: lithium. Lithium-ion batteries are the beating heart of electric vehicles, EVs. Elon Musk has said that lithium batteries are the new oil. Musk has been right too often for us to ignore him, and on top. Below are your comments. In California, the utility companies want you to get solar and batteries, so they buy electricity from you at 8 cents per kW and then sell it for 80 cents kW. Went to my garage on Saturday, attempted to start my car, and guess what? Battery dead. Called AAA. Battery changed in less than 20 minutes and I paid $207. I had no complaints as the dead battery had lasted 9 years. Anyone wish to compare that cost with an EV battery? Go with hydrogen-powered vehicles. It's the most abundant element, it's the future. Exclamation mark. There are many reasons hydrogen is a better choice. Here are some. The emissions in an automobile would be water, great for the environment. Next news. Gasoline margins dip into negative in U.S. with fuel weakness mounting. Bloomberg. Gasoline is so weak in the U.S. that some refiners are losing money making it. Most read from Bloomberg, your guide to understanding the roots of the Israel-Hamas war. Israel latest. Army says Hamas officials dead. Over 600,000 in Gaza flee South. Israel latest. Minister tells Blinken to brace for long war as pushes to contain Israel-Hamas war, warns Iran. Abu T-escalation stocks rise amid efforts to stifle Israel conflict. Markets wrap while benchmark futures reflect gasoline margins that. Below are your comments. And no one dares mention that the American auto consumers have shifted to recession buying. Everything economical and reasonable from Camrys to CR-Vs are selling as soon as dealers take deliver. Why? 6 months of people trading 15 mpg Detroit behemoths for 36 mpg Japanese cars will affect demand. PR. Et. Breaks my heart. Said no one. So, oil doesn't seem to be trading off fundamentals then. It's electric vehicles and people working from home. Just not using the same amount of gas. An unprecedented collapse in the prices of refined petroleum distillates, including gasoline, is currently underway. Prices at the pump will soon reach multi-year lows. Next news. How the rich, legally, avoid paying savings account taxes. Smart asset. If you keep money in a regular savings account, you will generally owe federal income taxes on the interest that is earned. You'll pay taxes at your regular rate the year interest is earned, whether or not you withdraw from. Continue reading. Right pointing arrow. The post How to Avoid Tax on a Savings Account appeared first on Smart Asset blog. Below are your comments. None of the options listed in this article are savings accounts. All of them contain substantial penalties for using the money for purposes other than healthcare, tuition, or retirement, and therefore do not act as a savings account. The rich are legally avoiding paying savings account taxes by not letting their money waste away in a savings account. How the rich avoid paying taxes on savings account interest. Roth IRAs. Except that Roth IRAs are not savings accounts and the rich are not allowed to contribute to them. But other than those minor details, it is a good plan. So the way to avoid income taxes on savings accounts is to not use savings accounts? Thanks for that. Only have to claim it if it's over $10. Most of us don't have to worry about that, especially since EROI is less than 0.1% at many places. Next news. Schwab reveals its plan for thinkorswim, what it means for you. Investors Business Daily. Loyal TD Ameritrade and thinkorswim users finally found out what's about to happen to their trading platforms. Below are your comments. Frankly, I preferred the old Scottrade platform for trading, both for visibility and ease of use. Ameritrade acquired Scottrade, converted its platform into thinkorswim over time, and now Schwab has acquired Ameritrade primarily for the thinkorswim asset. It seems to be an attribute of large core. Schwab no longer providing cash sweep service, which is an embezzlement to clients' interest. Today it is neither a discount broker nor full-service house. It is using merger and acquisition to wipe out competition. However, this strategy comes with high cost to the shareholders. In the meantime, small. I called Schwab 2 weeks ago about why my muni bond int was not there on the first. Fidelity had it my account. I was told no brokerage firm credits on the weekend, then the interest comes Monday after 4:30 p.m. I called the SEC, it was there on 15th. Please don't mess it up. TOS is probably one of the best trading tools out there. If they bleep up Think or Swim, I will move to another brokerage. Next news. Expectations quite low for Tesla's third quarter with all eyes on upcoming Cybertruck. Investors. Business Daily. TSLA advanced Monday. Wall Street expects Tesla EPS to drop 30% to 73 cents, the lowest in 2 years for Chief Executive Elon Musk, but with revenue increasing 13% to $24.32 billion. Analysts are also expecting Tesla profit margins to remain below its self-described floor amid fears there will be more surprise price cuts in the final months of 2023. Below are your comments. What does it matter what Elon says at the Q3 conference call about pricing, margin strategy? At the Q2 call, Elon advised that Q3 production numbers would be lower due to retooling for M3 Plus, and it was. Please wait a moment. Tesla then delivered more than they produced, and all the analysts whined about a major delivery. It is only quite low if you ignore the margins of every other automaker and also fail to see that Tesla is the only company on Earth making any profit margin on EVs. They shut down for retooling while building the assembly line for Cybertruck. Only a fool would worry about the highest margins go. Next news. Climbing mortgage rates are keeping home buyers away. Brace for another hit. Barron's.com. Existing home sales data for September, set for release this week, is expected to show that sales umped to the lowest level in more than a decade as mortgage rates rose. Below are your comments. It's not mortgage rates. It's the ridiculous prices. Average income and average home price is severely out of whack with historical ratio. It's high prices. I see homes bought in 2019 for $200,000 listed for $750,000. I am sorry, but I am not paying someone $550,000 more for a home they lived in for 4 years and did nothing to. Oh. Wow, it appears the increased interest rates are starting to do what they were designed to do. The problem with ever-increasing house prices is eventually you get to the point where most people see and afford to pay for them. I sure could use another home because my children are about to start high school. We need to move for a different district, but seeing how it is with housing, it will be cheaper for me to send them to private school than buy another home. Looks like we're staying a while. Next news. Warren Buffett's deputy says 1 million people want to be as successful as his boss. But the vast majority fall short because they get complacent. Fortune. Todd Combs, investment officer at Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, also shared advice for those starting out in their careers. Below are your comments. Not only do they get complacent, they also get impatient. The Warren Buffett strategy is very simple. I'm sure Buffett know what outcome bias is. Yes, he has those characteristics, but so do many others, and the stars simply don't line up for the M. His rise has been parallel to rise of this country, and he played all his cards right. That's nearly impossible to replicate today, starting from scratch. There is one Buffett in billions of folks. End of that story. Self-congratulating mutual admiration society. If Buffett were 21 years old today, I doubt he would be able to repeat this. So it was just luck being in the right place at the right time with the right money. Anyone can earn $1. Not everyone can save it. That is the difference between the rich and the homeless. Next news. This is all bad news. Shark Tank mogul Kevin O'Leary looks at the commercial real estate landscape and despairs, warning of chaos to come. Fortune. Not only does O'Leary see a correction coming for the office sector, but in New York it may be Betty R to actually tear these buildings down and rebuild. Below are your comments. O'Leary should be sitting next to SBF in NYC. His paid endorsement of FTX was part of the scam. People lost a lot of money because the self-professed Mr. Wonderful led them into a Ponzi scheme with his endorsement. I have a small office building in a mid-sized city in Florida. I can't figure out what market rent is because there is nothing else for rent. Mine is not vacant, but how do I do renewals? Political policies are causing problems. City office space is taking the brunt of it. Specifically, cities that have progressive socialist values. Living in Florida, I have yet to see price drops on anything. Whatever Mr. Wonderful says will be completely self-serving. He is on the same plane as Trump. Progressive cities are taking the brunt of it. Next news. Are electric cars more expensive to insure? Yahoo Personal Finance. How much does it cost to insure an electric car? Is EV insurance more expensive than a traditional auto insurance policy? We explain. Below are your comments. O'Leary should be sitting next to SBF in NYC. His paid endorsement of FTX was part of the scam. People lost a lot of money because the self-professed Mr. Wonderful led them into a Ponzi scheme with his endorsement. I have a small office building in a mid-sized city in Florida. I can't figure out what market rent is because there is nothing else for rent. Mine is not vacant, but how do I do renewals? Political policies are causing problems. City office space is taking the brunt of it. Specifically, cities that have progressive socialist values. Living in Florida, I have yet to see price drops on anything. Whatever Mr. Wonderful says will be completely self-serving. He is on the same plane as Trump. Progressive cities are taking the brunt of it. Next news. The big mistakes people make in Medicare, and how to avoid them. The Wall Street Journal. Seniors choosing Medicare plans can fall into traps, leaving them with higher costs or fewer doctors than they expected. I was so stupid. Below are your comments. Why do Americans accept plans which restrict their choice of doctors? I thought the US is the land of choice. Why does it take 2 clicks to get to a story that's not even available for reading? We're moving backwards. Medicare is bait and switch, pay in all your life, then when Medicare kicks in you pay with deductio N from Social Security, with Plan D and Plan F, or you pay co-pays. What happened to the $250,000 you paid in before 65? No article unless you buy a subscription. Next news. Yuengling wants in on Bud Light fallout. IEN. Only its fair share. Below are your comments. Best tasting beer for the buck, hands down. Barfweiser and Coors aren't even in the same league as Yuengling. I will admit, it is a good tasting beer. Unfortunately not sold in all states, but highly recommend trying it. You won't go wrong. I'm a fan of Yuengling, happy it came to the Midwest. Yep, I switched to Yuengling right away. If Yuengling Lager can profit from the Bud Light, Mulvaney fiasco, why not? From what I have read, those former Anheuser-Busch patrons are not coming back, so it makes sense to aim any marketing strategy at those individuals. While AB continues to deny that a problem exists, their competitors have. Next news. Former top FTX executive testifies he knew $8 billion of customer money was missing. CoinDesk. Nishad Singh, the latest member of Sam Bankman-Fried's inner circle to testify, said his admiration for SBF turned to shame on discovering FTX execs enriched themselves with customer funds. Below are your comments. I knew this guy would sing. I actually think Madoff had more integrity than this kid. The parents are probably done too. The financial hole was enormous, Singh said, adding that he learned in conversations with Bankman Fried that the funds were used by Alameda for a variety of venture investments, political donations, real estate purchases and other expenditures. With stolen FTX customers' money. Venture investments. Next news. Dow Jones rallies as Yellen makes pledge. Cathie Wood sells these stocks as tech earnings loom. Investors Business Daily. The Dow Jones rallied as Janet Yellen made an Israel-Ukraine pledge. Famed investor Cathie Wood sold some key tech stocks. Microsoft gained. Below are your comments. Why is Cathie Wood's news anymore? She had her 15 minutes of fame and then blew it. Her fund, ARKK, has gone from 130 to 39 in the last 2 years. Cathie Wood got stiff and pointed up today. Yellen lost her logic long ago. ARKK, the 1st of January 2021 equals $137 per shish. October 16, 2023 equals $38.53. Next news. Why you should carefully consider what Jamie Dimon just told the investing world. Yahoo Finance. It's good practice as an investor to listen to really smart people. Below are your comments. Well, except for the following. The experts didn't predict the 2000 tech meltdown. The experts didn't predict the 2008 finance industry meltdown. The experts didn't predict the 2010-2021 one-year streak of gains. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.